Today we'll be answering the question of, in what ways does your media product use, develop or challenge forms and conventions of real media products like music, setting, location, camera shot, mise-en-scène and characters?
This is our evaluation question number 1.
Okay, so I'll discuss music first. When researching into the music that thriller films used, I found that the common convention of a thriller film was to use tense music, which therefore leaves you in suspense throughout. Because of this research, we decided to use similar music in our own film, which will convey the same feelings. Most films use both diegetic and non-diegetic sounds, which add effects to certain scenes. For example, in ours, we had non-diegetic background music, which adds tension and leaves the audience wondering what will happen next. Then you have the simple diegetic sounds of people speaking and walking, and the general noises of the outside. Although we do have some dialogue, we limited it as it raises suspense throughout the film. The silence and the background music we used, we felt had enough of an effect on the audience that therefore we didn't need to use lots of dialogue, and limited it down to a couple of phrases. Throughout my research, I noticed that thriller films don't use too much dialogue, as background music and sound add enough effect, and dialogue can sometimes take away from the audience feeling tense and nervous. The music used for the background music is parallel, because from my research I felt parallel had the best effect compared to contrapuntal music, and it suited our overall idea of a thriller film much better.
We chose the victim character to be a girl because it is renowned in thriller films that the girl is the victim and is portrayed as the more weaker, vulnerable sex. By doing this, we went along with the media conventions. This could have made our thriller film more intense because it can make the audience feel more on edge, as their views given to them by the film industry on women suggest that they would feel more tension as they are aware of the state of the person being more vulnerable. Choosing a male villain just exaggerated the vulnerability of the victim, also making him seem more evil because the male is portrayed as the antagonist. We chose characters to have a casual costume to demonstrate a more realistic choice of life. We chose this because a lot of thriller films have costumes that don't distinguish between bad or good. We chose to have natural lighting throughout most of the film because it portrays the film more realistic to the audience, making it easier for them to relate. We decided to change the lighting after she drank the coffee to show the audience that something was wrong.
I will now discuss camera shots. We used multiple camera shots to add different effects throughout the film, such as panning shot, worm's eye view, long shot, point of view, over shoulder, bird's eye, close up, tracking shot, tilt up, close up, focus shot, tilt up, close up, focus shot again, and mid shot and tilt up pan. By using these different shots, it shows skill and adds to the overall effect and emotion added to the final film. Shots such as a tracking shot are used to make the audience feel on edge, or a point of view shot. This would be a convention of a thriller film, as lots of thriller films use this technique to make the viewers feel tense, as it's like they're in the film, so it's more personal to them, which engages them more.
So I'm talking about location and setting. The setting in our media film is set in a rural place, which is a thriller convention, as some thriller films are set in rural areas. We chose to use a rural area for our location, as when doing our research and planning, we noticed that it was less common for thriller films to be set in rural areas. Most thriller films are set in urban areas, contain a lot of action, whereas thriller films set in rural areas focus more on a story and have less action. As our film doesn't have a lot of fast-paced action, we chose to set it in an area to focus on the story. The reasoning for this is to make our film stand out more with an unusual choice of location.
I will now talk about characters and mise-en-scène. We had two characters, a female called Libby and her male friend. The characters were a big convention for thriller film, as the female was presented as the victim, which is stereotypical of thriller films and was a key convention that we decided to use. The male actor was the antagonist, which also fit into the convention, as there seemed to be more of a villain. Mise-en-scène is subjects such as setting, colour, costume, props, facial expression, body language, hair and makeup and lighting, many of which I've already mentioned. The clothing we dressed them in was a convention of a thriller film. The clothing worn was a casual outfit that you might wear normally. This is a convention as many thriller films use normal casual outfits, so that therefore the films seem more like a real life situation, which will make the film more interesting and realistic for the audience to watch. We used natural lighting as it was set outside like most thriller films would. We tried to get our actors to act quite down and worried throughout the film, as this is what you'd expect from a thriller film, which therefore is a convention again. The reason you would expect this is because stereotypically a thriller film is not a happy film, and usually something bad will happen, so therefore to keep in the theme of this, we tried to get our actors to represent this emotion through their facial expression and their body language throughout. Thank you.